Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Do we have to fear Allah Rabbul Izzati wal Jalal? This is a question that many people are asking today. Is Allah a God of wrath such that I need to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Couldn't He just be a God of absolute mercy and I don't need to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Now, I'm going to flip this question and say that there is actually an intrinsic problem within this question, and that is that the questioner doesn't even know Allah Rabbul Izzati wal Jalal. How so? You see, my dear brother, my dear sister, when a person recognizes the majesty of Allah, when a person recognizes the benevolence of Allah, when a person recognizes the power of Allah, when a person recognizes the sovereignty of Allah, when a person recognizes the dominion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when a person recognizes the kingdom of Allah Rabbul Izzati wal Jalal, when a person learns and cultures himself with the names and the attributes of Allah, the natural consequence of all of this is that you end up loving and you end up fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but a fear which is cultured with love. It's a natural consequence of this. When you realize that this entirety that you have within our society, within the larger world, within the country, within the earth as a whole, within the world, within the universe as a whole, all of these things are but a manifestation of the attribute of the creation of Allah, meaning the attribute which is that Allah creates. That alone has manifested in this way which is beyond anyone's imagination. The world as we know it and the universe, then naturally you're going to realize that this Lord is a majestic Lord, a powerful Lord, a Lord which deserves, a Lord whom deserves to be loved, a Lord whom deserves to be revered, a Lord whom naturally should also be feared as well. So when we ask that question, or when someone asks that question, we have to say and we have to know and we have to realize and we have to be truthful and honest to ourselves that perhaps the questioner doesn't even know who Allah Rabbul Izzati wal Jalal is. So it's not something negative to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, rather it is a natural consequence of the recognition of who Allah Rabbul Izzati wal Jalal is. In other words, fear of Allah is a manifestation of the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's greatness and the recognition of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's majesty. You see, my dear brother and my dear sister, this is the very reason why Allah told us in the Quran, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء, that there's no one that can truly fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more so than those people who happen to be scholars of what? Of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning they have knowledge of who Allah Rabbul Izzati wal Jalal is. So the more we learn about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more we will naturally end up revering Him, and that reverence will be cultured with love and fear, and also simultaneously hope in Allah Rabbul Izzati wal Jalal. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the wings of faith, which are both fear and hope. Fear of the wrath of Allah and the punishment of Allah, and hope in the blessings and the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.